Okay. All right. So that was this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. I am Chuck West. This is Chuck West World. Hit the subscription, hit the like buttons down below, subscribe, do all those little stuff just so you can help and support the channel. The channel's still growing when we need people like you who can help it grow even further. Anyway, on to the show. So the show started off with Kenny Omega, the international champion, starting off the night against young upstart Blake Christian, who is on the Ring of Honor roster. But like I said during the live stream, it was cool to see Blake Christian get a shot on live TV for a change. Since Tony Khan has a lot of great young talent that's sometimes buried in his toy chest in the attic. And sometimes he'll go in his attic every now and then, open that toy chest right up and blow off that toy and say, "Oh, I didn't know I had this." And that's who Blake Christian is. Blake Christian is that unused toy. Pause. Yeah, he's talented, man. He's like a ginger Shawn Michaels. Seriously. Uh, and I don't think Sean would even take offense to that. But yo, the dude is talented. It was just a natural fit to have him be kind of a warm up match for Kenny Omega as he gets on his way to whoever, the triple threat match on what Dynasty. So yeah, it was a quick match. It was solid, maybe like a C plus. I mean, it was a warmer. It was a tune-up match for Kenny. Blake got in a couple nice little moves. His reverse plancha, suicide plancha thing that he does outside the ring, he was able to hit that on Kenny. But Kenny was going to win this match. It was no doubt that he was going to win this match. Kenny did his moves, and then boom, one winged angel, and it was Murder She Wrote after that. We moved on from there. But after that, Kenny was approached by Speedball. Speedball Mike Bailey came out to say, "Hey, I admire you, Kenny Omega." He got a few words out. It was kind of awkward in a way because I feel like he didn't really get to say much more before he was interrupted by, the next guy that's in the triple threat match. I think Speedball probably would have really wanted to get some more words out because Speedball and Kenny Omega have such a history dating all the way back to Canada when those guys started out up there, out in I think Ontario, Canada, and Winnipeg, and running that whole circuit out there. They started out there together, and then Kenny took off, went to New Japan. He went out in Japan, period, and then became the star that he is today. And Speedball stayed out there in those circuits, man, and worked his ass off to get into the indie scene. Where, like I said, during a couple streams, not just this past stream, I was just saying, yo, he's pretty dope. He won me over. I didn't really like him at first, or I didn't understand his gimmick at first, the whole karate thing and all that. But the more I seen him wrestle, I was like, yo, dude can go. Dude can actually go in the ring. And his longevity is pretty solid too. So he's going to be one of those workhorse guys that talking about Tony Khan. He could be definitely one of those workhorse guys down the road where you can just have these banger matches on TV from week to week. Speedball can definitely deliver on that. So the other guy in the triple threat, I can't go without mentioning Ricochet. Ricochet is totally into his character. This heelish, dweeb-like, entitled character that he's playing is excellent. It fits him perfectly. He seems like he's having a ton of fun playing this heelish role. This seems like a role that he wished he could have played a long time ago. And AEW is giving him the opportunity to play that role. I think it's dope. And he's excelling at that role tremendously. He said that he wants to have, He's going to be the guy that not only has the belt, but the lady. I think he said he's going to have the lady and the belt. Now, him saying that he's going to have the lady and the belt, that led me to believe that Samantha Irvin, his soon-to-be wife, or wife, I think he might have just got married with her, is soon on her way to AEW. Now, what better way for her to debut in AEW than for her to be like his manager? So being his manager is the way to go. That is the logical way for Samantha Irvin to join AEW's roster. She said it before. The reason why she left WWE in the first place is because she wanted to be a part of the talent. She wanted to do more. She wanted to manage. She wanted to be a part of the show. She didn't just want to be a pretty face doing announcements. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as they build their way, not just to Dynasty, but All In. I'll be surprised if she doesn't appear by All In. But yeah, solid opener, solid build up to the triple threat international match. So now, next match, MJF. Well, it wasn't a match. It was a segment. It was MJF confronting really MVP about his offer to join the Hurt Syndicate. MVP gave MJF a card and he said, hey, I want you to join. I want you to join the team. And with you on the team, we could do great things. You know, it's just two slimeball dudes, two scumbag guys who are quote unquote friends, who are really trying to take advantage of each other. But, you know, it's just like two devils trying to make a deal. And before they were able to really consummate their deal, the Hurt Syndicate, the tag team champions, Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley came out and said, whoa. Let's just pump the brakes there, big guy. Let's pump the brakes. Give me that damn card. Told MJF, Bobby Lashley said, yo, let me get that card. Ripped it in his face and said, yo, nah. And then he turned to MVP and was like, look, what's going on? So they ain't feeling MJF. They don't want him to join. And that's for good reasons. The dude is a slimeball. He's a scumbag. And he's only trying to do what he wants to do for him. Everything's about MJF. That's just his character. And Bobby Lashley being hip to it, saying, hey, man, I seen what he do. I know what's the word around here. I might be new, but it ain't hard to tell. Like Nas said, it ain't hard to tell what kind of scumbag we dealing with here. And then MVP was like, yo, just chill out, man. My job is to make business. Your job is to hurt people. And I wouldn't be doing my business if I weren't looking at adding MJF to the puzzle. So, solid segment. What comes on after that, who knows? Brody King versus Kyle Fletcher. This probably was the best match of the night. Honestly, it was the best match of the night. They had a lot of chemistry, a lot of spots. I said it during the match because I knew Brody King wasn't going to win. I'm at the point now where I know he's not going to win pretty much most of the matches he's in, unfortunately. I mean, the guy is really solid. He's really one of the only solid big men who can really wrestle the smaller guys. You got to reward him at some point with a title run. Give him something. It could be a mid-card title. You gave everybody and their mama a title run with the AEW International Championship. Hell, Orange Cassidy's had the belt multiple times, and he's even beat Jon Moxley one of those times. And you can't throw the strap on one of your legitimate big guys and Brody King? Get it together, Tony Khan. Not every one of your guys can be champions that are your size. Like, you got to size it up at some point. Pause. But anyway, solid match. Kyle Fletcher won, which, you know, you can expect. He's the proto star, so you want to build him up to be what he say he is, the proto star. Common sense. Baby Kyle Orton. As a football player, baby Randall Keith Orton wins the match. All right, Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Davis, you know, that happened right after. I mean, I wish I didn't see the match. It wasn't that great. You know, it was some mistakes during the match. I think Mark Davis I said during the live stream, I think he might have hurt himself putting the boots to Brody King when he came in and jumped him and helped out with Kyle Fletcher. He kicked Brody King, I think, a couple times and kicked him. I guess he kicked him the wrong way or something, and his foot was messed up for the rest of the night. Go figure. Like, that guy has the worst luck in the world. Like, he's already had a multitude of injuries, and he just came back from an injury. So hopefully he's not injured again. But this match didn't go so well after that. It was a couple botches, even a botch with Hobbs trying to get his finishing move with the spine buster. He couldn't get Mark Davis off the ground for some reason. I think when you do that spine buster, I think the guy that's receiving it has to somewhat jump into that, and there's a flow, there's a motion with it. And I don't think Mark Davis was able to get his ass off the floor because he did something to his foot before the match started. So that's what my theory is. But not a great match, but they got through it, and nobody got even more hurt. And I feel bad for Hobbs, man. Hobbs is like, man, this is the second week in a row that I'm in a botchy-ass match. That's not really my fault. You know, the Dragon, Draglisto, or whatever his name is, that mess 2 weeks ago was, yeah, we haven't seen Draglisto since then. So I just say that. Now, the big boys came out. Swerve Strickland came out to confront Jon Moxley, as we all expected he would when he got the crowbar to his knee a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. And it was everything you thought it would be. It was two of the top guys facing off against each other. But what I thought was cool, before he approached Moxley, he ran out to Hangman and interrupted Hangman's backstage interview with Renee Paquette. And he said, and this is a good thing that Tony Khan did, he's threading storylines together. Be consistent with it. We're watching a television show. So if Hangman is talking hot shit in the back, talking about how he's still not over Swerve, then you have to make the dots connect and make Swerve see, like, oh, this dude's still not over me. And why does this dude got my name in his mouth? Period. So Swerve checked him and said, yo, why is your name in my mouth? Like, yo, you better not be out there ruining my opportunity to become the AEW champion. And they still got that heat, and it's great. That chemistry is never going away. Swerve Hangman 3 is going to be an epic trilogy whenever that comes. And they have that from whenever they want to open that lid, they can always have that. So that's what's so great about that feud, that it's still ongoing. And yeah, he approached him before he approached Jon Moxley. He's, him and Moxley, he came out, he said a couple things like, he claimed that, he's everything that Moxley used to be in terms of being the heart, soul, and spirit of AEW. And the truth is he had a point. Like, he kind of is the heart and soul and spirit of AEW right now. Swerve, hands down. Like, even in that crowd in Minnesota, he was hella over. Swerve is over. Like, he's a top guy officially, and people treat him as such. There was a lot of great points. So, Swerve said, you've bled pints, I've bled buckets. You've been in Texas death matches. I've won them. So he was shitting on him with that Texas death match he lost against Hangman. And he's putting himself over, saying, yeah, I beat Hangman in that Texas death match. You could, in the closing line that he had that was really dope with Jon Moxley was, he was like, yo, you could continue to play Jon Moxley on TV. Like, that was like his exclamation point. Like, you can continue to play who you used to be, because that person, you are no longer. I'm that person now. So that was really what he was trying to say. It was dope. Good segment. Obviously, you had the Death Riders come out at some point. I think Claudio came out at first. Marina tried to sneak shot. Her foil her plot was foiled by Willow Nightingale with her lead pipe to counteract Marina Shafira and her crowbar, the potential attack that she was going to do on Swerve. So Willow and Marina, they're on a collision course at some point. That I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at Dynasty as well. But a solid segment. I would definitely say it was solid. You had after that, you had another solid match between Mark Briscoe and Konosuke Takeshita. I got to get his name right. So it was a solid match. This was actually between this one and the Kyle Fletcher and Brody King match. You could pick either one as the match of the night, but I still would side with the Brody King and Fletcher match. But this one was just solid as well. It was kind of like a throw-in match, really. It was like your typical throw-in mid-card match. It really did serve a purpose as to what's real. It wasn't really a storyline between these two as far as why they were facing each other. It was just two solid wrestlers having another match against each other. And of course, that's what happened. They had another solid match. Nothing really memorable, nothing really that leads to really anything else, you know. Takeshita run as he should have, and you know, everything moved on to the next segment. So after that, you had, you know, the main event. So the main event was between Timeless Toni Storm teaming up with Thunder Rosa, as they call themselves Thunderstorm. That's what Thunder Rosa had on her t-shirt. It said Thunderstorm because that's what they used to be. But Timeless Toni Storm said, no, girl. We're Thunder Tits. And we are going to go out there and rip off their tits. Talking about Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, excuse me. So yeah, those two went against those two, and they were the headline main event match of the night. They are really building up Megan Bayne in the Toni Storm's collision course for the AEW Championship belt. Now, obviously, they had a great match. They didn't touch each other in the beginning. They teased that they were going to touch, and they didn't. And then they finally touched in the middle of the match. And, you know, there was a good back and forth that happened between both sides. The crowd was definitely on the side of Toni Storm. I mean, Toni Storm is incredibly over with the crowd. Like, it's insane how over she is. She's definitely the most over women's wrestler in the company. It's not even close. So, you know, it was interesting to see that toward the end of the match, they made the decision to have Toni Storm eat the pinfall, which I don't have a problem with at all. But what we do know as wrestling fans, we know for sure once the champion, whether it's a male or female, eats the pinfall in like a tag match or a meaningless match on their way to defending that title, they usually win that. They usually retain that title at the pay-per-view. So I don't foresee Toni Storm eating two pinfalls from Megan Bayne. She gave Megan Bayne her nod, put her over before she buries her at the pay-per-view. I won't say bury her, but it's I guess it's Tony Khan's way of trying to protect Megan Bayne. Like, yes, I have a pinfall against the world champion. So when I do lose to her at Dynasty, because she will lose to Toni Storm, let's be clear, it at least won't look as bad because she'll at least have a pinfall over Toni Storm. So I mean, it's a good tightrope, I guess, to walk on, but you know, you're splitting hairs. At some point, you're going to have to figure out who's going to have to be good enough to take the title off of Toni Storm. And Megan Bayne is definitely that, but she's so early into the company that storyline-wise, it may be not the best decision to put the belt on her. But then again, you could play devil's advocate and put the belt on Megan Bayne, surprise everybody and say, oh my gosh, she beat Toni Storm twice. You know, maybe you put the belt on her real quick and maybe Toni Storm win it right back before All In. Because you could give it right back to her. You know, All In is not until July 12th. We're not even in April yet. So if she loses, she could get the belt back before All In. It could be like one of those short title reigns, like when Kane beat Stone Cold and he had that really short title reign. So, yeah, I mean, that was it really for Dynamite. You know, it was a solid. It had Toni Storm, you know, laid out in the middle of the ring, looking confused at the end as she lost and ate the pinfall. Like I said, it was a great bleed up into, you know, as they slowly roll the ball down the road to Dynasty in April 6th. So, I mean, it was a solid show. I don't know if it was as good as last week's show, but it definitely was better than Raw this week. So, another solid one from you guys, AEW. Please keep it up.